Hey guys, welcome to STX Weekly episode 48. Except one day late. We always publish episodes I come live every Thursday, but yesterday was, as you can tell, I'm not looking my best. So yesterday I was really under the weather, and also I was traveling. I just came back from Hong Kong where I was there for a really cool event with Aqua Bloom Sports Tech Group. We did a nice little event in Hong Kong, spoke to a bunch of really good people, had a very interesting 4 days there. Yeah, you'll see details about that in our social posts. But yeah, what that meant was because I had a flight to catch in the evening and during the day, I was basically just laid out in bed. Um, I couldn't come to the show. So I'm sorry for being one day late, but I'm recovered enough to make sure I could bring you the top news for the week. So there we go. Let's start with the top stories. And as always, we start with the top deals. Um, Starting with Champions Round, a company that I know pretty well, Carter and Chase. Shout out to the guys. So Champions Round is part of the lead accelerator cohort in 2019, I believe, just pre-pandemic. And yeah, I was doing some mentorship work with them, with the accelerator in general. So also got to know Carter pretty well. And kudos to the guys. Done a huge, nice 7 million round, which yeah sets them up really nicely for the growth in the US. What exactly is Champions Round? Well, basically, Champions Round keeps on the theme of fantasy sports, but their focus is Gen Z sports fans. They want to bring a newer, younger audience into sports betting. I think the best way to highlight this is that their company's average player base age is 22 versus 38 for all sports betting. So they are home to the next generation of fantasy sports and sports betting players. So kudos to Champions Round, and yeah, excellent job to Carter and Chase, and really looking forward to seeing what they do from here. From Champions Round, we moved to CollX. CollX raised 5.5 million to launch a sports trading card marketplace. They have been doing sports trading cards, but they also expanded into other products such as Pokemon and Magic. I have to be honest, I have no idea what Magic the Gathering is. Maybe I'm showing my age. I don't know. But they do have some good adventures, Next Code Ventures, FJ Labs, some individuals apart from Philadelphia 76ers co-owner David Adelman and Nat Turner from Collectors Universe. Yeah, so these guys are building on the collectibles theme in sports, which continues to grow. Another area that continues to grow is B2B services, which is a company called Slate. They raised 5.5 million. They basically create content for sports leagues, brands, and they help you manage your content essentially for brands, for sports leagues, for federations, teams, etc. So they work with NFL, Nickelodeon, Budweiser, amongst others. They raised 5.5 million. And lastly, a story from India, staying on the theme of fantasy, 4 million went to Ashneer Grover's company called Third Unicorn. Um, if any audience is from India, he is a bit of a celebrity. He was one of the judges on last season's India's Shark Tank, and controversially was no longer part of the show. I won't get into details about that, but he is a multiple-time unicorn founder. So he has been a leader in completely different sectors. He was in a company called Pay, which is a fintech app, and there was with Grofers, which is basically a grocery delivery platform, grocery food, whatever, delivery platform. And now this is why his new venture is called Third Unicorn. And he's interested in building a fantasy play. They've got a bunch of angel investors. So it's a cricket fantasy gaming platform called Crikpe. Yeah. Um, it is still in development phase. The product is not launched yet, but yeah, they've already raised 4 million, which I don't understand because in somewhere else he says that they are bootstrapped and without limelight. So I don't know what that means, but they have raised a nice 4 million round, which is a decent chunk of change for Ashneer Grover. So four startups, and there were actually quite a few funding rounds I could have talked about this week. So it seems like maybe was beginning to see activity in the market. We've seen Basa Innovation Hub. They announced a couple of companies raised funding, including Try Oliver, which is a wearable for football. They got announced at the Sports Tomorrow Congress. There have been a bunch of other deals. Yeah, but these are the biggest of the week. 4 deals that I'm talking about. All right, next up, I hope you're excited about this weekend's Formula One action. I talked about it last week. Formula One was introducing new F1 TV Pro. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm still, like I said, feeling a bit under the weather. F1 TV Pro enhances the fan engagement. Actually, I should open this link. I thought I had it open somewhere. But they also have something called F1 Unlocked, which is behind the scenes content with drivers and scenes for different types of footage from races. It's exclusive access that F1 is bringing to you. I think this is part of F1 owning their production in a deeper way. Of course, they do a lot of co-production with Sky Sports, who is the main F1 broadcaster, especially in the UK, but also in different parts of the world. But they also do a lot of content on YouTube and other channels, and now I think they're launching their own dedicated content channel. So F1 TV Pro, I'm guessing, will be what it is, especially in India. And this is another fan engagement play by Formula One to deepen that connect, especially as Formula One grows its calendar, goes to new countries, deepens its presence in the US. We've got an American F1 driver on the grid uh, since I think the first time since the mid 2000s, I believe I read somewhere, Logan Sargent. So lots of reasons to be bullish about F1's growth as it grows into new markets and stuff. And this is another way that they want to connect to new audiences. Sorry, excuse me. I know you don't want to see that, but like I said, I'm recovering. Okay, coming from there, going into our top three stories. All of them are pretty connected. All of them come from the accelerator space. First up, we have NBC and Comcast. NBC Universal and Comcast announced their new cohort for this year. The Comcast NBC Universal Accelerator is now going to become a 6-month program. Earlier, it was a 3-month program. So they did their first batch in 2021. They've since worked with 90 companies and in different ways. And yeah, the numbers are there. Over nearly 1,000 applicants from 40 countries. They work with top names, and it is a very credible program. Who are these companies? Well, here's a look. The 2023 class includes Aircast from Melbourne. There's actually a nice mix of companies. It's not just American companies. So you've got Aircast from Melbourne, Einblick from Munich. I won't go through the descriptions of each of these companies, but there are some familiar names and some not so much. Companies from the US, Australia, as I said, Germany, and the UK. Tickets for Good, Rizar, Rivalry, Recut, Quick, Geo Snapshot, Fan Saves, and FanFest. So congratulations to all these companies. They've obviously come through a pretty tough group and getting some good visibility and good access through the NBC program. And yeah, can't wait to see these names shine through some more. After the NBC, actually before, I think it was the day before, NBA announced, NBA Launchpad was cohort 2, announced their second generation or the second year of startups for their second cohort. And they have two categories that these companies are divided in: advancing the game, which is, let's say, analytics to help improve basketball, and enhancing the fan experience. We've got seven companies in total through in advancing the game. Skill Corner, so which does player tracking, Springbox Analytics. So also companies from different parts of the world. Super Sapiens, that uses glucose data to see nutrition. Yeah, those are the three from advancing the game. Two from the US, one from Paris. And in enhancing the fan experience, we've seen Action Audio. Actually, Action Audio was part of, I think they were doing some work with the Australian Open, Shout out to Wildcard Ventures and AO Startups, which recently announced their cohort. I believe they're connected to Action Audio. They've done some amazing work in bringing sports to disabled audiences, especially helping or lower abled. I don't know what the right term is. I'm sorry. Helping blind and low vision audiences to follow sport in real time. Edge Sound Research, um, uh, which helps enhance the fan experience through sound, N venue, and tag board, which also does other different ways of enhancing the production. Sorry, I feel like my mind is foggy. I'm like struggling to get through these sentences. Some words from Tom Ryan, the VP of Basketball Strategy, who's been the face of NBA Launchpad for a while now, and they're driving startups in different ways. Has opened the door to create and enhance fan experience to the game, so on and so forth. This is a 6-month R&D project in the NBA ecosystem. These companies will get NBA resources to further develop their technologies, and they'll have an NBA Launchpad demo day at the Summer League in Las Vegas. So yeah, that's the latest batch of NBA Launchpad. Check out those companies right there. If you're interested, or if actually you're from these companies, get in touch with us. We'd love to feature you on some of our content even. Okay, my top story of the day is an interesting one coming from Chiliz, from Socios, actually. This is the founder company, parent company. I'm sorry, parent company of Socios. They announced a $50 million blockchain accelerator, sports blockchain accelerator. I don't really understand what $50 million sports blockchain accelerator means, because I mean, the article is not very clear. I looked in a couple of different places. They want 8 to 10 companies that they announced that they're working with. There are companies like LiveLike and FanFest, so well-known names which have already signed up. But sorry, that's part of the LiveLike and FanFest are part of Chili's game used. Sorry, I'm jumping stories here. So Chili's has launched a $50 million sports blockchain accelerator. Why I say I'm not really sure, because I'm pretty sure they don't invest $50 million into these companies. I think that'll happen maybe over a period of time, but it just goes to further strengthen Chili's interest in this area. Now, Chili's is also looking to get these companies to build on their blockchain. They will get offered funding, resources, develop, and guidance to develop and commercialize their innovations. But the ultimate ambition is for Chili's chain to be the dedicated blockchain for the sports industry. So that means that if you're building something, I'm pretty sure you have to jump on Chili's chain, which is what LiveLike and FanFest have done, because they have other products on Chili's chain, which is like Chili's game used and stuff like that. So that's a bit, I mean, I don't know what chain you might be building on, whether it's ETH or Polygon or whatever. You would have to jump in on the Chili's chain, which is, I guess, why they offer you a decent chunk of change to do that. But at least their mission is pretty clear. We want to harness blockchain technology to build communities where sports teams can have direct and valuable relationships with their fans. And yeah, Chili's chain can provide a digital key, blah, blah, blah. Right. And Jump Crypto are their partners. I don't know this company, but in case you do, maybe it adds some credibility to this idea. And they're interested in welcoming promising, viable, and innovative projects in the blockchain space to Chili's chain. And there you go, Alex Dreyfus, the founder of Socios. I've heard him speak. I mean, they're obviously very bullish about the space, and they continue to be. Socios might have taken a hit for their reputation in different ways, for their fan tokens and stuff, but at least they are the leading voice for, arguably, the leading voice for sports blockchain, especially if they're committing X amount of capital to the space. All right, that is my shortened, well, I guess it's come to the same length, or about 15 minutes, but that is my episode done for the week. Excuse me. As I said, one day late, so I'm sorry about that. We'll get back to regular scheduled programming for next week. And give us a shout out if you have enjoyed the show. Share across your channels. It'll really help us if you could do that. All right, take care, guys. See you next week. Ciao.